Hello, everybody. Happy Tuesday and our weekly global travel update coming to you this week from Manchester in the United Kingdom, the birthplace of the Industrial Revolution. So many great stories here. And of course, a redefinition and a reinvention and a really interesting city to visit. We're actually shooting one of my television shows here this week. So what better place to come to you from than Manchester in the United Kingdom? Peter Greenberg, of course, answering your questions and having just a few things to say about what's going on in the world. So let's start with the news, and then we'll get to your questions. The government shutdown continues, as you know. The delays are starting to creep up more and more at airports. We're dealing with almost an average now of 45-minute delays on average at airports like Phoenix and Chicago and Newark and many others. That doesn't really count for the push times where that delay average goes way up. And we're going to see that happening more and more. Why? Because while the government workers considered essential are air traffic controllers and TSA agents and U.S. Customs and Border Protection, they're not getting paid. And one by one, we're seeing this in a number of locations. They're understaffed to begin with. We know that. We've been covering that story for, if you're really going to be honest, 40 years. But now it's getting worse because one by one, a lot of these guys are starting to call in sick, even under the threat of being fired. But my question to the government is, you fire them, replacing them with who? There's nobody out there. The government just hired 2,000 new controllers, but they're going to take 2 to 3 years to train. There's nobody to replace them with. We saw this once before in 1981 when the Air Traffic Controllers Union went on strike and Ronald Reagan fired them. And we've never recovered from that. And the FAA never planned properly for attrition and retirements and the overall ebb and flow of employment. And so we're flirting with that now. And of course, it's easy to have delays now in a kind of a soft shoulder period of the fourth quarter. But we've got, November coming up and Thanksgiving holidays followed by Christmas. Good luck if the shutdown continues that long. We're going to talk about that, of course, in the days and weeks ahead. Hopefully they'll come to their senses and figure this out. Hey, they got peace in the Middle East, right? How about reopening the government? We'll move on from that. I'm not going to get political. I'm just getting practical. Speaking of delays, I've said this before. I'm going to continue to say it. I'm absolutely convinced, and I speak from experience here, that the people who design airports have never flown. Think about this. Would they impose such abuse on themselves if they actually flew? I doubt it. So I wanted to give you my top 3, or for that matter, worst 3 airports internationally I would never want to go to or connect from or through, and I'll do the same thing in the US. So let's start with overseas. So much for German efficiency, engineering, and design. Pay me anything, and I still do not want to connect through Frankfurt. It's a ridiculous airport. It's big. I give them that. There are a lot of big airports that work, and I can tell you those too. But you land after an 11-hour flight in Frankfurt to change planes, and you're carrying your carry-on bag and your personal item, and the next thing you know, you're climbing 2 flights of stairs. Then you're going down 2 flights of stairs. Then you're walking the distance of about 20 football fields to do what? Climb 2 flights of stairs again. Here's a 20th century idea. Escalators, elevators, whoa. So much for Frankfurt. Then we got Charles de Gaulle. Connecting between terminals, not fun, right? I mean, mon Dieu, count me out. And then London, going anywhere from Terminal 1, 2, 3, or 4 to Terminal 5, not pretty. And here's a little known fact about London that they won't tell you, but I will. You know what the minimum connecting time is for passengers considered legal going through Heathrow? 3 hours. What's the minimum connecting time for your bags? Get ready, 4 hours. Did I miss something in the math? So what are they telling you with that? Or basically, what am I telling you that they're not? If you don't give yourself a 4-hour airline connection, your bags may not make it. It's as simple as that. Why would you do that? Welcome to Heathrow. Okay, now let's move to the US. Which airports do I not want to connect through? Okay, Denver. Why? The trains keep breaking down. And the design they're using for the TSA checkpoints is abusive and draconian. So that Denver gets a big award there. Charlotte, you like to walk? Charlotte's got your name written all over it. And then last but not least, not that a lot of people connect through there, but I want to talk about airport design for a second. And the airport business model, which is corrupt. How many people here get up in the morning excited about going to an airport? No, you don't. You get excited about going through an airport. You don't get excited about going to an airport to shop, to dine, to entertain your friends, to get a haircut, to do, retail. No, you're going there to get on a plane. Have we forgotten that? And then to get out. However, the airport business model now relies so much on income and revenue from retail and concessionaires that they designed the airport to keep them happy. Let's talk about LaGuardia. It's a bright, gleaming, new, rebuilt, congested, stupid airport. Why? Let's talk about Terminal B. Okay? That's where you'll find American, JetBlue, United. The people who designed that terminal, what did they do? First of all, they put carpeting on the floor that is so thick and friction and full of friction that if you have a rollerboard, it's no longer a rollerboard. It's a drag and slug-aboard. And now you have to take very long walks. Why? They got rid of most of the people movers. Now, you'll want to know why they did that. They didn't want to anger the concessionaires. They wanted to go through this gauntlet of every store in the world, most of which I refuse to shop at in any way. But that's their business model, so they got to generate it. So how does that benefit us? Just something to talk about. Those are my 6 most unfavorite connecting airports. I'm sure you have a few. I'm open to your suggestions. Okay. Now, this story kind of came across my desk, and I had to laugh. I thought it was April Fool's early, but no, it's not. There's a Canadian airline, WestJet, that now wants to charge you a premium if your seat reclines. Have you seen how much seats recline today anyway? Did you see the video we did on that Airbus 320 on British Airways a couple of years ago? Brand new plane with me sitting there. And of course, on the armrest was the button to recline. I pushed it, and this is what the seat did. Did you see it? I'll do it again. That was the recline. You want me to pay a premium for that? This is an idea that cannot fly. Every pun intended. But WestJet's going to try it. Oh, I don't know what they're thinking. And speaking of Canada, basically tourism to the U.S., of course, is bottom-lined. It's flat-lined. It's basically disappeared. Car traffic down 35% across the border. Last month, airline flights, meaning passengers from Canada to the U.S. down 27%. Now, speaking of that, add that to the government shutdown, and the U.S. Travel Association now estimates that we are losing, meaning our travel and tourism business is now losing $1 billion a week. That's revenue they're never going to get back. That's gone. And you know what? Now you know why. People just ain't showing up. All right. Here's one for you. What's the longest flight in the world? Anybody want to guess? Singapore. Their flight from Singapore to either Newark or Singapore to JFK. It's in the 19 to 20 hour range, depending on headwinds and tailwinds, but it is nonstop. Now, to their credit, speaking of seats that recline and don't recline, there's no coach section on that plane. That would be truly cruel and unusual punishment. It's premium economy and business class. Even then, that's a 5-movie flight. Okay, but one other airline just announced an even longer flight with an asterisk. China Eastern, going to fly twice a week, starting at the end of this year from, are you ready? Shanghai to Buenos Aires, 29 hours. Okay, why was there an asterisk? Because it's making a stop for 45 minutes in Auckland, New Zealand for fuel, which reminds me of a usually great flight that used to be around, flown by LAN Chile when there was a LAN Chile, that started in Australia, went to Tahiti, and did the Southern Hemisphere around the world flight to Easter Island and into Santiago. Very cool flight. Now, the reason why China Eastern is saying this is the longest flight in the world, it's the longest flight in the world on one plane, but it's making a stop. Just thought I'd mention that. Okay. Speaking of mentioning that, check your local listings. Our show Hidden Alabama is premiering this month. So check PBS, Amazon Prime, Apple TV, and YouTube. My tour guide on that show, Martin Luther King III. And then next month, our next Hidden series for international destinations, it's Hidden Malta. Here's a preview. Coming soon on PBS, Hidden Malta, and a ride upon the waves of history.
This place was always struggled for. Everybody wanted it and everybody fought for it. This is Fort Ricasoli. It's the largest fort in Malta. It did also see action in the Second World War because it was part of the battle for Grand Harbour. During the Second World War, the islands were bombed extremely heavily. The Maltese survived by digging out shelters in the bastions and in the rock. The Maltese were extremely resilient, and together with their British allies, they succeeded in turning the siege.
Most people don't know this, but Malta was the most bombed country in World War II.
So when you think about events like the Great Siege or the Second World War, when you're seeing them from the water, it helps you to imagine it much more clearly.
Just part of what you'll see on Hidden Malta. And I hope you'll get a chance to watch a fascinating place, and one that I've been going to since 1982. So I think it's worth it. I hope you do too. All right, let's go to see some friends of ours here. Priya's watching from gloomy Chicago. Priya, excuse me. Sue Hennepin is always says hi from Bellingham, Washington. Mr. Cooney, greetings from soggy Terranea. We love the Terranea Resort. For those of you who don't know where it is, it's in the Pacific Palace. It's in not the Pacific Palisades. It's in the Palos Verdes Peninsula in California, and it's the site of the former Marine World or Marine Land of the Pacific. And for those of you who are old enough to remember one of my favorite shows as a kid, and I'm talking like when I was 5 and 6 years old, starring none other than Lloyd Bridges as Mike Nelson, Sea Hunt, that was filmed there. They even have a tribute to him at the hotel. Beautiful resort right there on the coast and the Palos Verdes Peninsula. Hello, Mr. Cooney. Jeff Keith is saying hello from rainy LA. What is your favorite carry-on roller? I've got 2 of them, and for the same reason. Remova, the German company that makes those great metal bags, sturdier than ever, indestructible, and the wheels work. Remember, you want 4 wheels that spin 360, not just 2 wheels. And then the other one is Briggs & Riley for the same reason. And the same reason isn't the wheels, it's the warranty. Those are the only 2 manufacturers. We did a story on the Travel Detective. Those are the only 2 manufacturers we could find that actually offer an unlimited lifetime warranty on their bags. If a wheel breaks off, they'll fix it. A zipper goes off, they put it back on. They have no excuses for like normal wear and tear that other luggage manufacturers use as an excuse not to honor their very limited warranty. So both those bags, both Briggs & Riley and Remova, are more expensive. But if you travel like I do, I end up trashing my bags. And you know what? The warranties work. So a big shout out to both of those. All right, Colleen saying hello from Soggy Walnut Creek. Apologies. It seems like California is having a rainstorm. But Melanie's saying hello from sunny Miami. And Jean, it always says hello from Tulsa. Camilla, I know, yep, she's in Tucson. And Terry saying hello from the California Historic Route 66 Association. We're about to start shooting our special later this year, which will air next year on PBS and Amazon and Apple TV, called Hidden Route 66, part of our Hidden series. We'll let you know as we get closer to the air date on that. It'll be a while, but we're having fun researching it right now. We start shooting it next month. Lindy's saying, bonjour from Ventura. I'm on a 1,600-day streak on Duolingo learning French. Any tips on flying to Quebec to practice? Yes, you take an airplane. It has wings and it flies. No, you know what? It's a great place to look. If you're going to Quebec, Montreal is a great place to practice your French because it truly is French speaking there. I love Quebec City, by the way. It's so beautiful and quaint. And despite what you've heard about the French, if you attempt to speak the language, they're actually respectful and they actually want to help. And you know what? Check it out. You'll be pleasantly surprised. Alexander says hello from sunny Switzerland. Juan is saying LGA airport restaurants charge you $18.80 for a beer. Funny you should mention that, Juan. We did a story about the airports at LaGuardia and their restaurants. I mean, the airport at LaGuardia. And when we did the story, you know what they're charging for a beer? $26. So maybe they came down a little bit because of us. That's still outrageous, right? Captive audience. Captive audience. Here's another little known story. The next time you're at LaGuardia or at Newark and you're walking through the terminal and you see all these restaurants, an Italian place, a wine place, a French place, a deli, and they all have interesting names. Guess what? They're not owned by individuals. It's one corporation that just came out with different names. So it is a captive audience. Okay. Scott saying, just landed in Charlotte, flying to Frankfurt for a Riviera River cruise. Oh, on the Rhine. Scott, we just got off one. We just did a special for Travel Detective on a Riviera travel called the MS Radiance on the Danube. And for those of you who think the Danube just goes between Budapest and Vienna, boy, are you mistaken. It is one of the longest rivers in Europe and one of the longest rivers in the world. And the entire Danube Delta is phenomenal and surprising. We took it in Romania. We took it in Serbia. We took it in Croatia. We went right to the border of Ukraine. I mean, an amazing river. You're going to have a great time. Now, I know you're going on the Rhine. Also great. But if you get a chance, try their Riviera cruise on the Radiance on the Danube. Melanie says, I want to praise Philadelphia Airport compared to my home airport of Miami, a disaster. You know what? I agree. If you're walking between, the E gates and the A gates in Miami, your pedometer will fail. You're going to get your steps in. The buses between the terminals run constantly, and the people are nice. This is Philadelphia, according to Melanie. And the moving walkways are always working. Yay. I often change planes in Philadelphia when visiting my grandkids in Alabama, and it's always a delight. Love the Lego Liberty Bell there too. Yeah, very cool, right? I love that too. All right. Jim and Harry, usually first up on our board, not today, but happy to see them. They said, oh, we were in Manchester a few weeks ago. What are your impressions? Mancunians, of course, folks from Manchester, and people from Salford, a tale of two cities. I love Manchester. There's so much history here. I went out to Roman ruins today. How about that? I mean, the music scene here is incredible. The art scene here is incredible. The canal, which really turned this place into the Industrial Revolution, right? It was purposely built for that. Amazing stories here. And what makes it even better, amazing storytellers. All right. Camilla says, yep, that land by, oh yeah. She agrees. You took the flight on Lon Chile between Papeete and Easter Island. Yep. Michael's saying hi from Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Okay. You know what, Terry? do me a favor. You said you emailed me. We didn't get it. So please do it again. Peter Greenberg, okay? I'll look for it. Priya says, going to Chile December 1st. Is Avianca Airlines any good? I haven't flown them before. You know what? They do a good job. Are they over-the-top Singapore Airlines? No. But you know what? They have great pilots. And by the way, they were one of the pioneers in South America. So yeah, check them out. All right, Seth saying hi from West Orange, New Jersey. Sue says, what restaurants do I like the best in Las Vegas? I'm going to give you a surprise. Most people never leave the Strip. Most people never leave their resorts. And yes, every celebrity chef has left their mark in the casino restaurants, right? You name it, there's a restaurant there, whether it's Nobu or, you name the chef. They're all there, right? Now what I want you to do the next time you go there is get in a taxi or an Uber, most likely a taxi in Vegas, and ask her to take you to the Arts District, way downtown, way off the Strip. All the new cutting edge chefs, all the James Beard, either nominees or winners, are there. And even if you get to some of these restaurants at 5 p.m, there's a line to get in from the locals. They know. So check it out. Any restaurant in the Arts District is very, very cool. Even the dive bars in the Arts District are cool. All right. Evelyn saying, hello from Denver and Raleigh. That's one. Joyce saying, what's the most economical flight to take to Rome from Philadelphia? Leave from New York or Newark. Here's the one. But you got to move relatively quickly. It's Norse from JFK. That's the new incarnation of Norwegian Air, right? In recent weeks, we've seen airfares as low as $169 each way from JFK. Now, they even have a business class on Norse, and the seats do recline, but they're not lie flat. That would make them flat lies. And even the business class is like $800. A big difference than $4,000 and $5,000 or $6,000. When you get to a $6,000 business class ticket, I'm sorry, folks, that's not a ticket. That's a Toyota. How do you justify that? All right. Jim and Harriet are saying, oh, I got the Manchester note. Thank you. Seth is saying, when will Newark have more airline choices? When will any airport have more airline choices? We're going to see Spirit probably go away. That's the betting right now. What did they do just 8 days ago? They gave back half of their fleet to the companies they were leasing them from. So they've reduced the size of their fleet by 50%. This is dramatic triage. So right now, let's try to keep the airlines we have and support them, especially the low fare carriers who are really getting crunched because they're called ULCCs, right? Ultra low cost carriers. But their costs aren't low. Fuel is the same for everybody. A new plane is the same for everybody, and their labor costs are going up. So if it's Frontier or Allegiant or Breeze or Avelo, help them out. Drivers, are there nonstop flights from Philadelphia to Rome? There used to be on American because it used to be one on US Air. So I will check that for you. I just don't know that there are right now. And if they are, they're seasonal and we're out of season. Nancy says, can I say the luggage company names again? I can. Rimowa, that's spelled Rimowa, and Briggs & Riley. I think you'll be happy with both. You'll spend more, but these are bags that will literally last you a lifetime. We actually we did a story on both Briggs & Riley and Rimowa. We went to Germany to watch them not only make the bags, but their repair center to see what came in to be fixed. Unbelievable. We saw one bag that had been literally dropped from a plane, accidentally, of course, got really banged up. They fixed it. We saw another one. I'm going to show you this. I'm going to draw it for you. Hold on. This is what we saw. Okay, this is the front of the bag. Hold on. I'm drawing it now. Hold on. I'm going to do it with a little bit deeper pen. Here we go. This is the front of the bag. I'm going to hold it up here. Can anybody tell me what that was on the bag? Yep, somebody sent it in to get it fixed. It was attacked by a crocodile. And those are the teeth marks. They fixed it. Okay. Colleen says, what's your favorite restaurant in New Orleans? I got a couple. One is anything. I mean, I love what she does. And Susan Rice is so, did I say Susan Rice? I forgot. The name of the restaurant, she has 3 of them in New Orleans. I will give them, I'm having a blank on her name. Everything she touches is great. Okay. One that's old school, which I still love, is Galatoire's. For men, it's jacket and tie. Don't get caught like I did once and have to wear the one they loan you. That's pathetic. And of course, you got to love the bar at the Monteleone. It's the Carousel bar that turns around in a hotel that's still reported to be haunted, but a great bar. But I'm telling you right now, send me that email, peter@petergreenberg.com. I'll give you those 3 restaurants in New Orleans. Okay. Christian's saying, what experience have you seen in the USA airports with immigration mistaking USA citizens for illegal immigrants, or is the media exaggerating? In my book, how do you mistake someone for being an immigrant? You're going through a border control. You have to show your documents. It's easy to figure out who is and who isn't. Can I see your passport? Can I see your green card or a certificate of residency? That's how you figure it out. It's not a problem. So if they're racially profiling, they should be punished for it. There should be consequences for that. It's very easy to figure out who is and who isn't at that particular border patrol area. Why? Because you're crossing a border. It's required to show ID. You're not just pulling somebody over on a traffic stop because they don't look good. No, they've just come off a plane. Ask them the same question you're asking the other 290 passengers. Okay. Peter, what's the airline operated by mean? When flights are booked by one airline and operated by another airline. It's called a code share. With very few exceptions, anytime you see a flight number on any airline you're flying that has 4 digits, not 1, 2, or 3, that means it's probably operated by another airline. So they're code sharing. And by the way, you got 9 different airlines flying one different flight, right? So if the One World Alliance, an American Airlines plane becomes a Qatar Airlines plane, and a Royal Jordanian plane, and a Japan Airlines plane, and a Finnair plane, et cetera, et cetera. And if it's Star Alliance, a United Airlines plane could be Lufthansa, TAP, Swiss Air, Turkish, all operating the same plane, but only operated by one of those carriers. They all control different inventory on those flights, and the fares can be radically different for the same seat on the same plane. It's absurd. But where the confusion really happens is you go to the wrong terminal and you sometimes miss your flight. So always check who's operating the flight and what terminal the plane's going out of. Juan says AA still has that flight from Philadelphia to Rome. So you're still in luck. Okay. Laura says, thank you for recommending we apply for global entry before we went to Africa. Arrived back to the U.S. Sunday afternoon, and we sailed through immigration in less than 5 minutes. Almost felt guilty for those in the line who didn't have global entry. You don't have to feel guilty. Feel smart. You did it. Okay. Jeff says, my Briggs & Riley was almost crushed by a car, and they fixed it, no questions. Yeah, we went to their repair facility way out in Long Island, and we watched what they did. It's amazing. Exactly what Jeff said. No questions asked. It's worth it. That or Remova. Thank you, Melanie. Thank you. I had a brain freeze. Susan Spicer. We love her restaurant, Bayona. She has 2 others in New Orleans. She's the master. I love her. All right. I mean, truly great chef. Thank you for setting the record straight on that. And now it's time, whether you like it or not, to go to the photo of the week. Let's do it. And there it is. Anyone want to tell me where that was taken from? Where we just were, very close to it, on that river cruise on the Danube. We were in Croatia, but this is near Split in Croatia. And congratulations to Theodora Rados. And she writes, Croatia is truly beautiful. I took this photo at Krka National Park near Split in Croatia. Nicely done. And by the way, if you think you have a photo that qualifies as photo of the week and want to be right up there with Theodora's, you know what to do. Just send it to photo contest at petergreenberg.com. And if we agree, it goes right up there. A couple of housekeeping notes. Don't forget our radio show coming up this Saturday. The timing could not be more perfect if you're a baseball fan, because we're coming from the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York. And of course, we've got the ALCS and the NLCS happening. So all attention will be focused on baseball, but you want to know who's on first, what's on second, and I don't know. Remember the Abbott and Costello routine? We'll play that one for you as well. A classic. So tune in on Saturday, 10:05 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern time. And if you can't find a station in your market, no problem. We stream it live right on petergreenberg.com. So I hope you'll join us. In the meantime, continue to send your questions in, peter@petergreenberg.com. I'm going to sign off a little early here in Manchester because we have a very early shooting day tomorrow. I want to thank Amanda Morris for handling this well. Anthony, you can all send him his congratulations. Got married last week and is on his honeymoon. He comes back next week, so you can all thank him for doing the deed. He took the big step. And I was happy enough to be at the wedding. I was lucky enough to be at the wedding. Amanda, thank you. Anthony, enjoy your honeymoon. We'll see you next week. We'll see you guys on the radio on Saturday. Cheers from Manchester. And we'll see you on Global Travel Update next week from a very special location about 9,000 miles away from here. Bye, everybody.